Hello, my name's Bo. I thought we could start by chatting a bit about bananas. We Swedes love bananas. We have done for a very long time. But time flies like an arrow and fruit flies like a banana, as they say. Every day we eat on average 2,575,342 bananas in Sweden. That's 939,999,830 bananas a year. Almost 1 billion lovely bananas. Just think how many bananas. It's totally nuts. One person who really loves bananas is 2-year-old Wilma. But how do all the bananas get to Sweden? What do you think, Wilma? Do little yellow wings fold out from the skin so that they can fly here? Or do they swim through the sea in big banana schools? In reality, bananas travel by boat. And so that they'll still be tasty and yellow when they arrive, the ship must sail quickly and smoothly. And it does too, with the help of the Swedish Maritime Administration. The Maritime Administration supports all shipping in Swedish waters and all Swedish shipping in the rest of the world. Its main activities are centered on commercial shipping, but it also keeps track of leisure traffic, fishing traffic, and the Navy's interests. The Maritime Administration's role is to ensure that all transportation by sea is as quick, safe, convenient, and environmentally friendly as possible. It's about helping with information, communication, education, research, and various other services, such as pilotage, icebreaking, work on fairways, and other forms of modern nautical support. All the work is done in close collaboration with the ports, ships, and the cargo owners. Now, the ship loaded with Wilma's bananas is nearing Gothenburg. Bananas had come here to Gothenburg by boat for a little more than 100 years. The first load arrived in 1909. Those bananas were as black as coal. It was only in 1945 that they started using refrigerated transport. Nowadays, it's estimated that Sweden's biggest port here in Gothenburg greets a hearty welcome to about 500 million bananas every year. But before the bananas can disembark and continue on their journey to Wilma, the vessel must be piloted into harbour. The Maritime Administration fixes that with professional pilots, who are kind of a highly trained guides on the sea. Large vessels always have to use the help of a pilot who climbs on board when it's time to come into port. The Maritime Administration has 220 employed pilots who together perform about 40,000 pilotage operations per year. 40,000! In addition, there is the extra help from the Maritime Administration's Modern Vessel Traffic Service, or VTS. There are special VTS centers on dry land with operators who follow the ship and make sure nothing goes wrong. But stop! Wait! There's a dangerous shallow! Good job the pilot's there. Using the Maritime Administration's depth database, he or she can see what lies beneath the surface. They also have access to 3-dimensional deep water maps. Cool! Mapping is an important part of the Maritime Administration's activities, and so is dredging. The fairways are blasted and dug, and material is sucked up so that the boats can get through. The Maritime Administration also works with the maintenance and operation of all lighthouses, buoys, and other floating aids to navigation in Swedish waters. All this important work is performed by the Maritime Administration with the help of its capable staff on pilot boats and fairway and working vessels. And here we have Fyrbjörn. Yes, what a nice coincidence. Fyrbjörn is just one of the Maritime Administration's working ships. Hello, Fyrbjörn! But let's get back on board the big ship with bananas and to the pilot there, who's in full swing helping the captain and crew to dock at a wharf. Or at the port of Gothenburg in this case. Sometimes a pilot will help to navigate locks as well. A boat needs to be raised or lowered if it's moved from one water level to another, such as in a canal. The Maritime Administration is responsible for several of the biggest locks in Sweden, including this one in Södertälje. But that isn't Wilma's banana boat, so let's get back to Gothenburg. Okay then, a ship comes loaded with bananas to Wilma. But it's not always this easy. Sweden is a cold country, especially in winter, and sometimes the ice gets so thick that the ships get stuck. When this happens, the Maritime Administration can bring out its 5 icebreakers: Ale, Atle, Freid, Odin and Ymir. They are named after Norse gods and nearly as powerful. If needed, they'll come to the rescue and break the ice. They help Wilma get fresh bananas even in winter. But there's one thing that is actually more important than bananas, and that's people. In the event of an accident at sea, the most important task, of course, is to take care of the passengers and crew. Bananas grow on trees after all, unlike us humans. Accidents are very rare, but they do happen, and that's why we have air and sea rescue, which the Maritime Administration is responsible for over the whole country. Look! There, we have one of the rescue helicopters now. A wonderful sight, especially if you're underwater and are waiting to be rescued. Back to our dear ship, which has now completed its mission and can leave the Swedish harbour. Although it will certainly be back here again one day, like thousands of other vessels. The fact is that virtually all shipments of goods to and from Sweden are made by ship. Over 90% of the country's imports and exports take a sea route at some time during their transport, which makes Sweden one of Europe's most maritime-dependent countries. So when you understand that, you see that the Swedish Maritime Administration has a very important job. So, we'll just take the bananas ashore now and make sure the film gets a happy ending. Okay then, enjoy your snack, Wilma. And thanks to all of you for your attention. Bananas don't grow in Sweden. Bon voyage, Swedish Maritime Administration.